For the last 7 years, researchers have noticed somewhat of an unusual trend in the United States. Fewer Americans are having sex than they did in previous decades. Marcelina Benito takes a look at why that's happening.
We've got the hottest economy anywhere in the world.
The U.S. economy is booming, but American sex lives are tanking. In fact, experts say the country is in the middle of a sex recession.
Sexual rain checks are abusive. What?
Researchers from the University of Chicago are calling it the Great American Sex Drought. In 2018, nearly a quarter of adults admitted to not having sex in a whole year. That's a record high, and you can blame young men for shattering that record. Most of those who went 365 days with no loving are living at home with their parents or unemployed. People are also getting married later, and even married couples are experiencing fewer fireworks in the bedroom.
We should have sex more.
More people are choosing to spend their time on Netflix or Instagram than cuddling their special someone. Experts also blame bad diets and a rise in obesity as a culprit tanking people's libido. But even those having sex are seeing action less often. In 1996, more than half of adults reported having sex at least once a week. Now that number is down to 39%.
I'm enjoying our non-sex period, that's all I'm saying.
Don't you miss it?
And before you think it's no big deal, consider this. Folks who regularly have sex were more likely to report they are very happy. Let's be clear, that doesn't mean you need sex for happiness, but the science says it sure doesn't hurt. Back to you.